Hello everyone, and welcome. This is what we are building today. So we've got a speed build on our hands, and we're going a little bit gothic. Now, I don't do a lot of gothic builds. I mean, now and then I do. Usually, and I do admit this, usually it's for Halloween or something spooky or vampire-y. But in this case, I actually didn't want to go in that direction. I wanted to just build a Gothic / Victorian style home that was just a home, you know, not anything creepy. No Uncreepy lives in here, or as yet. I mean, you could put someone creepy in there if you really wanted to, but that was kind of the idea. I wanted to do something that wasn't creepy or spooky or anything like that, just like a gothic home that is something nice that you could live in if you were just really into the gothic style, which is a really nice style when it comes down to it. You know, it's something a little different. It might not be to everybody's taste, but it is a really nice style. So I wanted to tackle it today and do something, yeah, a little bit different, a little bit outside of my comfort zone, because I don't do a lot of gothic builds, but I thought it would be fun. So you can sort of see the roof is starting to take shape there. I'm just getting the shape of the house. I actually didn't have an inspiration for this build, or did I? I feel like I did, but then I really didn't stick to it. as I sometimes do. Like, I'll get like a vague idea from a picture, and then I will run away with it and do something entirely different. Because I feel like I was doing something specific with the shape, but I don't know, I cannot remember if I did have a specific idea in my head or I had a specific inspiration. Honestly, I can't remember. I didn't even make it that long ago. I just can't remember because, you know, my memory, not so good. So I am just working on the shape on the roofing and how I'm going to get that to actually work. There was just you do have to be careful when you have the roofs going in from the side, like I've got it there. They do actually attach to the inside of the building. So what you have to do to work around that is you've got to extend the roof out by one grid. So it needs to be one grid away, and it's the same sort of thing that you do with roofing. So extend it out one grid away from the wall that you need it to attach to, and then bring it in with the eaves, so you don't actually have the physical wall part of the wall attaching to the wall, if that makes sense. Because as soon as you get the physical part of the roof wall attaching to the interior wall, then the interior wall gets, I guess, hidden behind the roofing wall, and then you can't color it the way that you want. So yeah, that's a little workaround for that little issue. And that's what I was figuring out at that time. But I have since moved on from there because this is a speed build and I was speeding away doing different things. But we have the shape of the build. So I'm just getting some plants in there. I actually skipped over quite a bit because I did fluff around with the landscaping for quite a while because I wasn't quite sure at that point what vibe I wanted the landscaping to be. And I was just looking at like the dead trees and that sort of thing. I was just like, you know, I really don't want to do a spooky vibe. I just want to do, you know, a spooky vibe or a creepy vibe. I just actually want to do just a nice gothic build. And I didn't actually really know that until I started the landscaping and had to start thinking about stylistically how I wanted the build, or the vibe that I wanted the build to have. Because the landscaping does play into that, and it does have a big part in how you actually create the vibe of the exterior of the house. And yeah, until I actually started doing the landscaping, I didn't know that I wanted to do it just straight up gothic without going to the creepy side of things. So, you know, that was a bit of a revelation for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with like green, and there's going to be life, and it's just going to be, well, you know, a maintained, well-groomed kind of garden. Not like totally overgrown or anything like that. That's kind of where I was going with that. So definitely towards the more formal style, because I felt like that the Victorian style is a little bit more traditional, obviously traditional because it's you know, a historical style, but more formal as well. So what I'm doing at the moment is just creating a little pergola. So a cute little pergola. So once again, you know, a thing like a pergola works really nicely in a more formal sort of style garden or backyard. I mean, it's not like super formal, but it's definitely not your wild overgrown kind of thing. So I sort of think it does lend itself to slightly more formal. And I'm just using the Romantic Garden Stuff Pack benches underneath there. And I'm looking at adding some vines. So I'm just digging around in debug and just seeing what I want to add, just to give it a little bit of, like the history. Not the history. Uh, just like it's been there for a long time. So I guess, yes, I guess I kind of do mean history, but just when you're looking at a house that like has your ivy and stuff growing over it, it doesn't have to be like that overgrown wild feel. It might be just that it's been there for so long that nature has sort of included itself, or it's wrapping itself around the house, that's sometimes what I feel like ivy is. It's not necessarily that it's overgrown or wild. I mean, sometimes it could be that as well, but yeah, it's just that the house has become so much part of the environment that the environment has just really grown around it. And that was sort of, the vibe that I was going for. So I am actually going to add in some more plants and bits and pieces around the place. So mainly, I stuck with the greenery, I think. Do I add purple? Ooh. Well, I'm gonna have to wait and see. I can't remember. So I am adding like some extra bushes and stuff around there. As I said, I didn't want it like super overgrown, but I did want to have it like, a little bit more lush, and like there's a bit of life around the place, but without, like it's maintained, and something that could be maintained by, someone who's a king gardener. Which isn't me. I'm not a king gardener. I'm trying to, at the moment, I do have purple, great. I'm trying to convince my kids to do some of the gardening around the place. I am gonna pay them because, labour. And if they put the labour and the effort in, then they'll get paid, a little bit of pocket money. My youngest is super excited about this. He's all over it. He's like, yes, I want money, and give me now. It's just like, no, you got to work for it, honey. But he's like, I don't mind that. So he's quite excited about it, whereas the eldest is more, I don't know if I want to do that, So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but yeah, I am trying at the moment to convince the kids to do a little bit of the old gardening for me, and because I've got a bit of a bad back, so gardening isn't the best for my back, so I do avoid it because I know that I'm going to end up with back pain after I do it. So it's not my favorite, and if I can convince the kids to do it for a little bit of monetary recompense, then all the better, I say. So this is sort of really starting to come together as far as the outside. I think you can sort of see the vibe that I'm going for, so bringing in a little bit of colour, but suitable within the range of Gothic. So I've gone with the purple, which is definitely can be a very Gothic colour. Can be, doesn't have to be, you can have like beautiful pastel purples and stuff like that, which might be in a teenager room or just in a pretty pastel room. So I just, with landscaping, I kind of try and stick, I mean, it does sometimes depend on what you're landscaping. Like if you're going for a full sort of wildflower English garden look, I mean, then you're going to go probably quite wild on all the different kinds of flowers and lots of different bushes and that sort of thing. Whereas a lot of the other gardens, I do tend towards just picking maybe 4 or 5 different types of plants and just kind of sticking with those. It just adds a bit of cohesion to how your garden looks when it comes down to it. I'm using the Castle Estate. Oh yes, that's right. I'm using the Castle Estate pack. Look, I'm not the best at building castles. I haven't practiced it, and I actually don't have too much interest in building castles, if I'm being really honest, which is probably why I haven't practiced it. But then I was like thinking the Gothic, and then I was like, oh, I can use the Castle Estate pack for that, because like the stone from the Castle Estate kit is absolutely perfect there. I mean, look at that. It's perfect. And then the windows, perfect. I mean, when you think about it, a castle, right, is essentially a Gothic building before Gothic was a thing, if that makes sense. So it's like the original Gothic style building is a castle. So using the Castle Estate kit to create a Gothic style home, I mean, perfect. And yeah, the windows, as I said, absolutely wonderful. The doors, great. and the stone. Great. So it's just like, this is the best way for me, I think, to really integrate the castle estate kit in the style of building that I do. I still might one day attempt a castle. I have attempted one in the past. It was actually not that great. And I did do a castle house, which was okay, but could have done better. I think I was quite sick when I built that, so I was like, eh. But you know, it was okay. The decorating was better than the exterior. But anyway, I digress. So I'm just doing a little bit of uh, exterior decoration. If this makes sense. What am I trying to say? So I'm just doing, yeah, a little bit of exterior decorating because I've got a little bit of porch life to fill in. So I was thinking, you know, the little bubble trees from Get Together, they work with that sort of more formal vibe. So I'm actually thought of those and I was like, oh, I can dot those around the place where all the balconies are, and I feel like they worked really nicely with how the exterior looked. And obviously this build is, as much as I tried to get the lighting a little better, I might just try and light it up a little bit in game, but in the editing room, but in game it was actually quite dark. So it is, I mean, I built it in not Glimmerbrook, what's the other one, Forgotten Hollow, and obviously that's quite a gloomy world because it's the vampire world, so it's never really good for seeing the exterior of houses, really. I mean, even like the middle of the day and the brightest, sunniest of days, it's still really dull. Yeah, anyway, what you gonna do? Okie pokey, so we are moving to the inside of the build. I was just playing around with what I wanted the interior to look like, because when I'm thinking of Victorian builds, I mean, you're thinking obviously traditional furnishing styles, but you're also thinking about patterns. So probably flooring, you're looking at a pattern like carpets and stuff, if you're not looking at floors, wooden floors with rugs, but also on the walls you're looking at quite heavy kind of wallpaper, if that makes sense. So I actually ended up going with the carpet option, and it's the, I'm gonna say vampires. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's vampires for the carpeting, and I can't remember what I did on the walls, but I know I put something down and then I changed it. I remember that much. So as far as the build goes, I'm just working out the floor plan at this point. So I think it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Let's see how it ends up. I'm never certain until I like see the floor plan and then I'll remember, because I don't check before I actually record these voiceovers, so I'm naughty like that. I'm a shocker. So I know downstairs I did actually think about how the layout would go. So downstairs I wanted to have a separate kitchen, a separate dining, and a separate living area. Oh yeah, I definitely changed that wallpaper. I don't keep that. So, you know, I was conscious like in the, so yeah, 2 bathrooms. It's a really, no, that's the kitchen. Or maybe it's only a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, and that's it. There we go. 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. So yeah, I was conscious of not having, you know how in modern builds they have the more open flow where you will have maybe the kitchen, the dining, and the living kind of all in the one space. I was conscious of that not being the style of things back in the sort of Victorian times. So I didn't have, yeah, I wanted to have those in separate rooms. So the kitchen in a separate room, dining in a separate room, living off to the side. I can't remember if I close off the entrance area from the living area, but that's probably something I should have considered if I didn't, but I don't know if I did. Anyway, the furnishings, I'm going quite dark, but that's the, you know, that's the Gothic style, brings in the darkness. And I think I used the Horse Ranch candles, I think, for the lighting. I'm using Cottage Living, actually, yes, I'm pretty sure I'm using the Cottage Living, yes, counters is what I'm looking at. So I did tutu around with, or play around with, sorry, I say tutu and it's just like, it's a thing, I think it's just a word I've picked up somewhere along the way, and I don't know if anywhere else in the world they use that word. So I'm going to use it and people are going to be like, what do you mean, Velvet? And I mean play around with. That's what I mean. So I'm just doing like a little counter sort of kitchen islandy type thing, just for the like little pieces of clutter and bits and pieces, you know, that you kind of get when you have a kitchen. You just like things, you might move in and you might have less stuff, but you kind of, I don't know, you kind of gather stuff as you live in a place, right? It just like, yeah, you just seem to add to your life collection of things without sort of getting rid of enough things until you move again and you're like, no, I need to get rid of this. Why do I still have this? I don't really need this. And you have another clean out, and then it's like rinse and repeat. You sort of slowly collect and build up things over your life in a house. So just adding the clutter. Obviously, you know, there was no reason not to have modernish clutter in the kitchen. I mean, obviously, even though the furnishings might be more traditional, it could be that, I mean, it's going to be very hard to find a lot of traditional style clutter. The things that you use every day is all going to be pretty modern for the most part. Unless you're going really hardcore and just have everything in your house as historical. But, you know, imagine the expense of that. Like, you'd have to special order things in or get things specially made. I don't know. Although, I mean, you can get lots of different things in the world today, can't you? And it's such a mobile, connected world that you can find things from all over the world. Anyway, I've digressed again. Tell you what, I think I need my mum juice. So in the dining area, I just kept it, I mean, it's a pretty small area, so I didn't go overboard as far as the size go. This is where I'm going to start working on, lightening up the wallpaper. So, I missed which wallpaper that is. Oh well. It's probably vampires. So I did touch of purple in the dining room just to mix it up a little bit because I thought the purple kind of worked, and then I was like, oh, what am I going to do with that triangle or bi-triangle? Just get rid of it. I don't need that triangle. So I decided I would put like a nice little heavy kind of hutch there for the dining stuff. Because, you know, a Victorian house, you would kind of expect a dining hutch. I don't know, I just kind of randomly went purple in the dining room, but I did like a lot of greens in the rest of the rooms. I don't know why I did purple. I just think I liked the purple in the dining room. I just did. I can't explain it. Just one of those things. Just went with purple in that dining room and then just went green everywhere else in the house. And just one of those random velvet things that I do every now and then. So then we're moving on to the living area. So I actually thought the for rent couches worked really nicely with its, you know, they've got that shape. You know how sometimes the Gothic furniture kind of have that triangular kind of shape, you know, like at the top of the arch of the windows. You know, that's kind of the shape that I sort of was thinking would, yeah, kind of work with the Gothic vibe house. So yeah. Anyway, the foreign couch looked really nice, so I was like, yeah, that's good. So I did struggle a little bit with like the rugs and stuff and just finding something that really worked with the vibe of the house. I mean, there's no way I was going to be able to do the whole house with purple and have enough like purple rugs and bits and pieces for it. Well, I don't think so anyway. Maybe I should try one day to do like a whole purple house. I thought I did that berry bungalow. But I did have to do, like, I did try like going full on purple, but then I had to sort of move into more berry shades, sort of the red, sort of slightly more red, because there just wasn't enough furnishings in the purple to get away with it. From memory. Anywho, so it's a big long lounge, kind of a L-shaped lounge. You know, it's kind of, or a J-shaped lounge, depending on which way you're looking at it. And I did want to put a fireplace in, so I think I go up and put the chimney on, because I realised I didn't put a chimney on, and I wanted to put a fireplace in. I did really like that big fireplace, but it just was a little bit too big for the space, because it's not like the biggest of spaces. So yeah, I ended up going for the slightly smaller fireplace, but I think it still looked really nice anyway. So yeah. I was going to put those plants there, and I was like, no, you know what? They're way too modern. I need to go, like, you know, a little bit more traditional in the way of their furnishings. So, just about finished the little lounge area. It's just, you know, just little areas where you would Like there's a little seating area here, there's a little seating area here for the, like watching the TV, and there's like another little area here, and that's going to be like the reading area. So it's, you know, nice cute little areas for different activities. I'm plumbing the depths of the wedding stories pack and getting the candles out from that pack. I actually really like the candles from that pack. I quite often use them. And they looked really nice in the Gothic room. So I was like, yeah. So I'm just working on a little living sort of space thing in the upstairs area because we've moved upstairs now. It is a bit of a sort of odd shaped corridor, so there wasn't heaps of space for me to add things, but just, there's a couple little areas where I thought we could add some furnishings, maybe some pretty statues, some artwork, some plants, some tables, and maybe a chair. Yeah, there's a chair. So that's artwork from blah, 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 Realm of Magic and the Wedding Stories thing. And then I was like, this little nook here, I could actually probably put a desk in there. So I'm just working on putting a desk in this little odd shaped corner because there's a window. It's just up against a window. So it's not up against a door or anything. And I thought, well, you know what? There's actually quite a bit of space there. We'll do a little candelabra and why not utilize the space and have a wee computer in there? That makes sense. So then we've got the bathroom. So I did want to actually make sure that I had a good amount of space in the bathroom to be able to, I don't know, do something fun, do something pretty. Why not? There's certainly enough. I definitely wanted like enough space to have like a really nice bathing space and have a bit of room there. So that's what I did. Nice square bathroom, and I'm using, I think, the vampire stuff for the bathroom. Pretty sure that's what I did, because that stuff actually has that Gothic look, so it makes sense to go heavy on the vampire stuff. Although I don't think I went overboard on vampire stuff, but I did use a bit of it. But it's illogical because that's the Gothic pack, really, isn't it? So it makes sense. I think I'm using Jungle Adventure tile in this room. It is one of my favourite tiles, so I do use it quite a bit in a variety of styles. I'm using the really high tile in this one, which goes almost to the roof, but there is a couple of different versions of it in terms of how high the tile goes and stuff. But yeah, I really love that Jungle Adventure pack. It's actually a really, really good build buy pack. The Jungle Adventure pack. I actually haven't done so much of the gameplay. I do intend to because I want to go do the whole archaeology thing, but I haven't done it yet. I've done a little, but I haven't done it in detail enough to really say that I've played it properly. Anyway, I'm using the vampire bed, which I think looks really nice in the room. I think that really suits. And just bringing in a few bits and pieces. That's actually the for rent mirror, which I thought looked really nice. Yeah, just got that sort of heavy traditional look to it, which really works with the Gothic styles. So yeah, why not? Just adding some bits and pieces of clutter to the dresser, because that's what you put on a dresser, I guess. I mean, my dresser has has all sorts of stuff on it, but I have all my makeup and stuff in the bathroom. So yeah, I don't have it in the bedroom with the dresser. I don't know. Do you guys have like your makeup and stuff on a dresser in your bedroom, or do you do it in the bathroom? I don't know. I guess it depends on your bedroom setup, doesn't it? But I tend to gravitate towards doing it in the bathroom. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting there. I think I need more mold juice. So the room is coming together really nice. I think it's actually a nice, pretty room. It's just, I'm just bringing in like a touch of blue into that room, actually, mixing it up a little bit. So some of the rooms do have some different colours. The blue, I struggle with curtains. I put those in, and then I sort of realised that I had a whole lot of the smaller, the smaller little windows. And finding something to cover those, as well as something that would work with the larger windows, that was the challenge, because it's like, well, what actually fits over the smaller windows and the larger windows and has the same shade? Not actually always easy to accomplish in The Sims, because sometimes you have yeah, sometimes you don't really have the right size curtains to cover all your options, but I actually ended up going with the vintage. Is it vintage? Oh, luxury party or vintage? What is it? Vintage something. I forgot the name of that stuff pack, but anyway, it's like a vintage stuff pack thing, and the curtains from that, those worked. So I was like, yes, perfect. But yeah, sometimes curtains can be a real challenge. Oh my gosh. And this room, the color of this room, I went through, I don't know how many iterations of the color for this room. I just like, I skipped over a whole lot of me just fluffing around and just trying to work out what on earth I was going to do for colors, because I was really struggling with the single bed and finding a color that I liked on the single bed that actually still carried that traditional vibe and that sort of that heavy wood vibe that comes with a traditional look. So yeah, it was a struggle and to find something that worked. Yeah, it's amazing what you guys don't get to see. The the speed builds would be so much longer if I left all the crud in where I just was mucking around and just trying to work something out, and it was just all over the place. Not that it's always the case with every build, but sometimes you have like the odd room or the odd thing where you just something's just not working. You're not happy, and it takes a wee while to figure it out and go through and work these things out. But got there in the end. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's the exterior done. So let's do a tour of what we did. So this is the house as it came together. And I think I didn't actually show this in the build, but I did add some doodads and bits and pieces to the roof. So you can sort of see there the sort of spikes and stuff running around along the roof and the spire at the front and stuff. I honestly, I didn't think of it until later on. I did try to put like the spire along this side one as well, but it just looked a little odd. Or maybe I just forgot it. It's entirely possible. Maybe I'll have a look at it when I go to put it on the gallery, and maybe I'll fix that up. But anyway, yeah, I did think of adding some bits and pieces to the roof just to give it a little bit more of a Gothic feel. It's just one of those things I just always forget about, adding those little touches to the roof for, things like your cottages and your Gothic builds and that sort of thing. I don't know. It's just one of those things that just doesn't naturally occur to me in my brain for some reason. So this is how it's looking on the hall sort of entrance area. And we've got our lovely little statue of the lady, a nice sort of seating area for visitors as they come in. Then moving around to more of our living area where we've got the fire and the TV and a little bit more seating in the bookcase as well. And this is our cute little dining area. So it is teeny tiny, but you can still fit your family of 4 around there, and it is only a 2-bedroom house, so it doesn't need to be super huge. Then moving into the kitchen, which I actually really liked. I know dark kitchens aren't for everyone, but I love dark kitchens, so I do build them because I love them. And I would love like a black kitchen. You have to balance it out with a bit of light, but yeah, I do love a dark kitchen. And moving into the bathroom, so that's definitely got strong vampire vibes, I think, this bathroom. But the vampire pack did have a good bathroom for Gothic stuff, so what you're gonna do, you gotta use what's there. And I mean, I think that sort of plant thing was a little bit modern, but I felt like a teenager or something would be in that room, so they might have some more modern touches to bring to the situation. And it's the master bedroom with all the little bits and pieces, and I think that's about our build. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.